Good afternoon, everybody, and very much welcome here to the Aula of Stockholm School of Economics. We're very happy to sit here while the dusk falls outside our window and listen to the future. Not just any part of the future, but the future that the people will provide for us. We will talk a lot about how the youth are today. What's wrong with them? What's right with them? How many are they? Can we treat them as one whole group, or are they individuals? We'll see about that. To our help, we have lots of people, not only here on stage, but also in the audience. As you see over here, we'll have a Twitter arrangement going on. So there will be people here that are discussing this subject, putting up some interesting comments, or not so interesting. That's for you to judge. And for those of you who are doing that, you can see that we have an account and also hashtag #MKids. And you will find the login to the network on the back of your name tags, if you feel like logging into our network. We will approach this subject through quite a few different angles today. And I hope the tempo will be fairly quick. And even so, if we miss something during one part of the presentation, we'll have time to get back to it later. I just want to assure you that if you want to ask a question, please feel free to do so. And then I'd like to start with welcoming our first speaker, a man who's been working as a journalist for whole lots of years, and he's been studying not only young people, but also he has been writing about it in Wall Street Journal for a long time. Now he wrote a book, The Trophy Kids, and so I may welcome Ron Alsop. Please give him a warm hand. Welcome.
Well, good afternoon. I'm very pleased to be here. This is my first visit to Stockholm, to Sweden, and so far I'm looking forward to seeing more of it, but I did take a walk yesterday and enjoyed what I saw. And I have to thank Peter and Judith for inviting me and for being so helpful in arranging my trip here from New York. And I guess what interested me when I heard from Judith about coming to this event that you were putting on was that I received some invitations from other European countries like Scotland and England to speak, but you were the first non-English speaking country to want me to talk about this. But it also wasn't a total surprise, because when I was researching my book, I interviewed some people at Ericsson for another article I was writing on executive education. And when I told them I was writing this book on the millennial generation, they said, "Oh yes, we know all about curling." And I didn't know what curling meant, but I knew it was a sport, but I didn't know what it meant in terms of parenting in Sweden. So I realized that maybe there was a lot to share with you here in Sweden about what I wrote about, focusing mostly on America. Now, as I said, this generation has really great expectations, and it's a very credentials-driven generation. By that I mean they create these resumes. This is before they even get to college, of all their activities, all their academic achievements, and at least in America, where it's very competitive to get into the top universities, I understand why they do this, but on the other hand, I think they almost become obsessed with achievement and expect to move ahead very rapidly as they're going through school with all these achievements. And I interviewed a business school dean in Pennsylvania, and he said that a pair of parents actually sent him an Excel spreadsheet that outlined their child's achievements from kindergarten all the way through their senior year of high school. So it's very much a generation that's grown up with their parents managing their lives, and where they feel like they have to achieve in order to be successful in the workplace later. And that's where the trouble comes, is in the workplace. I heard this comment over and over again from managers, that this generation has no patience for paying its dues, meaning that they expect to advance very quickly, get pay raises on a regular basis, and that they just don't have the patience to stay in a job very long. When the economy was better, that meant moving from company to company very fast. Now they're not able to do that, of course, but they still have this desire to do a lot of different things to advance and to get rewarded quickly. So I think the companies that are too resistant will have a very difficult time attracting this generation. In fact, the most successful companies are doing their recruiting in cyberspace. Ernst & Young was one of the very first companies to go on Facebook with a recruiting site. The U.S. Army is on almost every social networking site trying to attract recruits. And KPMG, as far as I know, was the first company that went on YouTube with a recruiting site because they felt it was a way to break through the clutter of other recruiting activities by other companies. So what kind of jobs does this generation want? Well, a lot of them want high-paying jobs, consulting, banking, accounting, maybe partly to pay off their student loans and partly because they want to enjoy their lives and be able to afford nice things.